Moving on to the executive summary section, I do like how you've quantified your overall years of experience and you've indicated the industries as well as some of the skill sets. So this is good. In terms of the rest of it, I'm going to recommend that you tweak this, okay? Because some of this is quite vague and open to interpretation, especially things like being a trusted advisor, problem solving, working proactively. A lot of that can be copied and pasted into any resume or any other profession. Whereas what I would recommend instead is perhaps adding the types of organizations that you have worked for. So an example of how I'd maybe improve this bullet point here is saying something like, oh, I don't know why it's so large there. Saying something like 14 years experience in international logistics, professional services, etc. for companies ranging from X to Y employees and up to X in annual revenue. Those are objective factors about the business and your experience. And also, project management at a 10 to 50 person startup is very different to project management at maybe 1,000 to 5,000 person company. So that's why it's important to specify the size of the organization so that individuals can draw parallels between your objective experience and their own organizational structure. So I have left that on the side for you to edit and tweak depending on the size of the organizations that you've worked for. In terms of this section here, I do like that you have a section for accomplishments. I do think it is a little bit heavy. It is a wall of text here. Typically, like bullet points and kind of sections are used for like succinct information. What we have here is like four-line paragraphs, just wall of text. This section here, what I'd recommend is if you want to have an exec summary, you can either blend the two together and do bullet points like in my own resume. I basically have just a short section of the most relevant experiences from my career, depending on the role that I'm applying to. So in this executive summary section or skills, or whether you choose to blend it, basically this section is what I'd recommend tweaking to the job description and really highlighting your most relevant experiences. When I look at this entire paragraph, I don't see a single metric, nor do I see kind of any indication of who this was done for. So what I'd recommend is, condense this and also add in a metric. If you're mentioning high customer success and retention, I'd rather you said improved retention from 60 to 75% for a logistics company with X employees or X in revenue. Here, I think, again, this could be condensed and also adding the type of organization that you did it for. Saying something like supported an average of 25% increase in cost savings for a national US service, operating in X states, something like that, rather than saying make business process improvement recommendations to decisions on next steps. It's super wordy, and again, like just being succinct with the metric would be much more helpful. Here as well, there's just kind of like no metrics. I do like that you've said air, ocean, domestic. These are kind of industries or particular skill sets that are transferable, but just kind of like throwing in some words like successful software implementations and troubleshooting like isn't as impactful as if you could say something like implemented ABC software in under 3 months for a global logistics company with 10 million in annual revenue. Something like that would be far more impactful than something like this. So that's just an example, like a wireframe that you might then be able to relate to an experience and kind of plug and play.